So in this particular lecture, we will be talking about permutations. Okay, so what is a permutation? This lecture will be quite long, so let us just start with it. So what is the definition of permutation? So permutation of a set is defined to be a 1-1 mapping is defined to be a 1-1 mapping of a finite set onto itself of a finite set onto itself. Okay, permutation of a set is defined to be a 1-1 mapping of a finite set onto itself. So if the finite set is say S, then the permutation is somewhat an S cross S on 2S. Okay, so this is a permutation, kind of this. Permutation of a set is defined to be a 1-1 mapping of a finite set onto itself. Okay, so now let us go through a mathematical representation of a permutation. So suppose you have P, and okay, let us first define a set. Say you have a set S which contains the numbers 1, 2, 3 up till n, that is the n natural numbers. Now let a1, a2 up till an be any arrangement of 1, 2, 3 up till n, where 1 is replaced by a1, 2 is replaced by a2 up till we get that n is replaced by an. Now see as these get replaced, 1 gets replaced by a1, 2 gets replaced by a2, and up till n gets replaced by an, we eventually get a 1-1 mapping. Basically, see 1, 2, 3 up till n, they all lie in the set S. Similarly, a1, a2 up till an, they also all belong to S. Basically, a1, a2 up till an are the numbers from the first n natural numbers only. Okay, so basically 1-1 mapping is what? If you have two sets like this or two set of numbers like this, suppose this is 1, 2, 3, this is 4, 5, 6. So what is a 1-1 mapping? So this is a 1-1 mapping, say like this and this. This is a 1-1 mapping. Okay, so eventually we get a 1-1 mapping here. These basically this arrangement of or the representation of writing the set of numbers which we have in the set itself, and the arrangement of those numbers which lead us to a 1-1 mapping, this representation is known as a permutation. And a permutation is represented as, so this permutation only will be represented as P equals to 1, 2 up till n. Below 1 we have to write the number with which it is replaced. So a1, a2 up till an. This is the way of representing a permutation. Getting my point? Now we have a very important note here. So note is that the order in which the first row is written does not matter. Okay, the order in which the first row is written does not matter. What actually matters, so what actually matters is the element is the element with which they are replaced with. They are replaced with. That is, say for example, this only. See, writing the above row in the form of 1, 2, 3, 4 up till n does not matter actually. What matters is the relation between the top row element and the bottom row element. We have to keep in mind that when we will be writing the top row, the bottom row must be according to the element with which each is replaced with. For example, let me I can just show you the thing. So we have a permutation 1, 2, 3 and 3, 1, 2. Okay, so this thing is same as 2, 3, 1. Now we have replaced the above row with 2, 3, 1, but see here 2 is replaced with 1, so we have to keep 1 here below 2. Similarly 1 is replaced with 3, so 3 here, and 3 is replaced with 2, so 2 here. So see, in both these cases the arrangement of the above row is not same, but still the permutations are equal because we have kept the arrangements as they are. Okay, basically we have not changed the arrangement of the numbers, we have just changed the order in which the numbers are written. Okay, so this is what we have written in this particular note. Okay, okay, so now we have been so basically now suppose we have a certain set, say we have a set is equals to 1, 2, 3. Now we know that we can arrange these three numbers in 3 factorial ways, that is in 6 ways. So this S will have 6 permutations because we have 6 different arrangements. Now what will be those permutations? So 1, 2, 3, and you can have 1, 2, 3 below itself, then you can, and this will equal 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, this will equal 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, this will equal 1, 2, 3, then you can have 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you can have 2, 1, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. So you have got 6 arrangements. Okay, so these are the 6 arrangements which you can have from the set 1 S equals to from the set containing the elements 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now let us define the first permutation. Okay, so this permutation where each element is replaced by itself, this permutation where each element is replaced by itself, that is a permutation which looks like a1 a2 up till an, a1 a2 up till an. These permutations are known as identity permutations. Identity permutations. Okay, they are denoted by the letter I. Got it? Now see, we have got 6 permutations here. The set containing all these permutations, the set containing all these permutations is basically denoted by Pn. Okay, the set containing all these permutations is basically denoted by Pn. So Pn is basically will be having the all the permutations. Let this one be P, this one be P1, this one be P2, this be P3, P4, P5 and P6. So basically capital Pn, this n refers to the order of the set or the cardinal number of the set whose permutations we are calculating. So cardinal number of the set is 3 here. So basically we will write here P3. Okay, and P3 contains P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 and P6. Got it, guys? So this is the case of the set of all permutations. Okay, now we will be talking about the product of permutations. Now we will be talking about the product of permutations. Product of permutations. Now this is pretty easy a topic. What is the product of permutations? Let's see. Basically, suppose you have 2 permutations of the same set. Okay, let us first define the set. So suppose you have a set capital A equals to ABC. Okay, then you take two permutations of it. Let P1 equals to the first permutation, which is given as ABC and CBA, and you have another permutation which is given as ABC BCA. So these are the two permutations you have. Now you need to find the product of these two permutations. You need to find the product of these two permutations. Okay, I have done one mistake in the above part. I have by mistake given the equal to signs here. So this is a mistake of mine. Basically what happens is now sometimes you get a bit absent minded and you do these things. This was a silly mistake from my side. I'm very sorry for you guys if I have done anything wrong. So just correct it. Okay, product of permutations. Okay, so P1 equals to this, P2 equals to, now what will be P1 times P2? So let us first write them. So this is ABC, this is CBA times ABC and BCA. Okay, so now see, the first step you need to do is that try and achieve the bottom row of P1 in P2. So we need to change the okay, I have missed one more thing. In the upper row of P2, and change P2 accordingly. This is the first step. The second step is that cross multiply. I mean, you can pretty easily write it, cancel the bottom row of P1 and the upper row of P2. The product P1 P2 is then the upper row of P1 and modified bottom row of P2. These are the steps. Now see how do we execute the steps. So it is pretty easy, right? So you have P1 equals to, as okay, let us first do the product, keep this in product sign. So CBA and ABC BCA. So first we need to achieve the bottom layer, that is CBA, in the upper layer of the second permutation. So this is ABC CBA, then this is CBA. Now see, C is changed by A, so we have to keep A below C. B is changed by C, so C below B, and A is changed by B, so B below A. Now see what we will do, that we will cancel this and this, and what remains is give you the product permutation. So what remains is that ABC and ACB. So this is your P1 P2. Got it? It is a very easy portion, right? So this is what you have. This is the product of permutations. Got it, guys? Next we will be talking about the inverse of a permutation. Inverse of a permutation. So what is the inverse of a permutation? For a permutation you have, suppose P is equals to 1, 2, 3 up till n, and the arrangement you have is A1, A2, A3 up till an. Then the P inverse, that is inverse of the permutation P, is nothing but the reverse, writing the upper row in the lower row and the lower row in the upper row. That is P inverse is A1, A2 up till an, 1, 2 up till n. Got it, guys? So this is the inverse of a permutation. The next topic we will be having is the group property of a permutation. Now this is what you this is what is very important in the concept of permutations. So basically what we need to show here is that the binary operation, okay, a binary operation when applied on a permutation will be following the closure property, that is an automatic property which comes from the binary composition. It will be associative, it will have a identity, or more specifically a left identity, and it will have an inverse. Okay, so basically let us start with the particular thing. So first thing first, let us define the set. So let S be having the elements 1, 2, 3 up till n, that is the set of n natural numbers, the set of n natural numbers. Okay, now what should be the binary operation we will be talking about? So the binary operation we will be talking about is multiplication. Binary composition we will be talking about is multiplication. Okay, binary composition we will be talking about is multiplication. So first thing first, let us start with it. Okay, so okay, for PQR belonging to the set of all permutations where Pn is the set of all permutations of S. Okay, okay, for PQR be the set of all PQR belonging to the set Pn, where P equals to say 1, 2, 3 up till n, A1, A2, A3 up till An, Q equals to A1, A2 up till An, B1, B2 up till Bn, and R equals to B1, B2 up till Bn and C1, C2 up till Cn. Okay, suppose we have these three, we have considered these three permutations. Okay, so now what is happening, let's see. We will be proving the associative property first. So P times Q times R will be 1, 2 up till n, A1, A2 up till An. Now see, Q and R when multiplied will give you A1, A2, An, and below we will have C1, C2, Cn, because this and this gets cancelled. So we will be having A1, A2 up till An and C1, C2 up till Cn. Okay, then again the product will cancel this portion and this portion. So what we are left with 1, 2 up till n, C1, C2 up till Cn. Okay, now what is P times Q in bracket times R? See the first product. So A1, A2 and this one portion is cancelled. So what are we left with? We are left with 1, 2 up till n and B1, B2 up till Bn, and R is your B1, B2 up till Bn, C1, C2 up till Cn. So again this lower row and the upper row gets cancelled, which eventually leads you to 1, 2 up till n, C1, C2 up till Cn. So here from here we can say that P times QR is equals to P times Q times R. Hence product is associative on Pn. Got the case? So associativity is proven. Now we will be proving about the existence of identity. Okay, existence of identity. Now we already know about the identity set which we have. What was the identity set? The identity set was that particular permutation in which there was no change, or the elements were changed with itself. Okay, so the identity set in this particular permutational set is 1, 2, 3 up till n, 1, 2, 3 up till n. Now if I multiply this with any permutation p, any arbitrary permutation p, where p is given as 1, 2, 3 up till n, and below we have a1, a2 up till n. If I multiply these, see this portion gets cancelled with this, so we are left with 1, 2, 3 up till n, and below we have a1, a2, a3 up till n, and that is nothing but the permutation P itself, we have considered this to be P. So basically, IP is equals to P. Similarly, you will get that Pi is also equals to P. You can do it on your own. Pi will also give you P. So IP gives you P, Pi gives you P, and therefore we can say that I is the inverse. I is the identity element. I is the identity element. I is the identity element. Clear, guys? Okay. Now if I talk about the existence of inverse, we also know about the inverse permutation, that if P is some permutation 1, 2, 3 up till n, and A1, A2, A3 up till n, then the inverse permutation is given as A1, A2 up till n and 1, 2 up till An. Okay, if you place this, if you apply the binary composition on this as P minus 1 and P, okay, or you can do it like this, then you will get the identity element itself. Okay, you can do it on your own. This is pretty much easy to do because the product of permutations is very easy. Okay, so you can do it on your own, and from these three statements you can say that the multiplication is having an identity as well as an inverse for all P belonging to the set Pn. Okay, so basically Pn and multiplication forms a group. Now this particular group is denoted by Sn, where Sn is said to be symmetric permutation group on n symbols. Okay, each element in the group is known as a symbol. Suppose this element will have n symbols. This element has n symbols. Okay, got my point? So this is what you have as your Sn. Sn is known as your symmetric permutation group of n symbols. Okay. Acha. So in the next portion, now you may also ask me the question that why have I not proved the closure property of Pn? What is the closure property of Pn? We know that any permutation times another permutation, if I apply the binary composition on them, then they will belong to the same set. Okay, let me elaborate a bit of the closure property. For P and Q belonging to the set Pn, P product Q will also belong to the set Pn. Okay, now you can easily do this thing. See, in any product, in any sort of product, if P is equals to 1, 2, 3, I'm taking a short example, 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3, 1, and Q is equals to 1, 2, 3 and 3, 2, 1, then what will be their product? So P times Q will become 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, this will be 2, 3, 1, now 2 is replaced by 2, 3 is replaced by 1, 1 is replaced by 3, that is 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3. So see that 2, 1, 3 is nothing but a particular arrangement of the letters 1, 2, 3, that is of the letters whose permutations we are taking. So basically P times Q is also belonging to the set Pn. So basically closure property will be maintained in all cases. You can also try and prove it on your own. You can take P, see, basically this is pretty easy a concept, just let's see. I will be proving the closure property on the binary on the example we had taken to prove the group properties of a permutation. So suppose we have P equals to 1, 2 up till n and the arrangement are A1, A2 till n, where A1, A2 all up till an all belong to the set S. Now what was S? As you remember, S was the set containing the first n natural numbers, okay, whose permutations we are taking. Similarly, so P is here, and similarly Q is equals to 1, 2, say it is A1, A2 up till An, B1, B2 up till Bn, where B1, B2 up till Bn all belong to S again. If you multiply them, you get P times Q is equals to 1 2 up till n and B1 B2 up till Bn. So basically, since B1 B2 and up till Bn also lie in the same set, therefore we can easily say that B1 B2 up till Bn is a particular arrangement of the first n natural numbers which also belong to the set. So basically we can say that P dot Q will also belong to the set of all permutations of the elements in the set S. Basically P dot Q, P and Q, all three lie in the same set. So we can also prove the closure property in this particular way. Okay, so group properties of permutations are done. Okay, so now we will be talking about cyclic permutation. Now we will be talking about cyclic permutation. So what is cyclic permutation? See, for example, if you have a permutation P equals to 1 2 3 4 2 3 4 1, carefully notice here that 1 is replaced by 2, 2 is replaced by 3, 3 is replaced by 4 and 4 is replaced by 1. So if I define a permutation, so suppose if I define a set which contains the elements 1 2 3 4, then see the elements of the set are exchanging with each other in a cyclic manner. See, they are exchanging in this cyclic manner. Okay, so these sorts of permutations are known as a cyclic permutation. Okay, so basically this permutation can also be written as, this permutation can also be, that is this permutation can also be written as P equals to 1 2 3 4. This eventually means that 1 is replaced by 2, 2 by 3, 3 by 4 and 4 by 1. Okay, we can write any cyclic permutation in this particular way. Okay, so basically if I talk about the equality of cyclic permutations, then let us see an example. See, we have 1 2 3 4, this will be equal to 2 3 4 1, this will be equal to 3 4 1 2 and this will be equal to 4 4 1 2 and 3. See, in all these cases the exchange of the elements are always same. See, like in the first case you have 1 by 2, 2 by 3, 3 by 4 and 4 by 1. Similarly 2 by 3, 3 by 4, 4 by 1, 3 by 4, 4 by 1, 1 by 2 and 2 by 3. See, in all the cases the exchanging elements are same. Okay, so got my point? Okay, so this is what we are talking about. Okay, now from here we will be moving on to the next theory, that is representing a permutation in terms of its of a cyclic permutation. Now how can we do that? Suppose we have a permutation Q which is equals to 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 4 5 3. Okay, now in this case let us first analyze what are the different exchanges going on. Okay, see, 1 is being exchanged by 1 itself, 2 is being exchanged by 2 itself, now 3 is being exchanged by 4, 4 by 5 and 5 by 3. Okay, this is the exchange which is going on. Okay, so now how can we write this particular thing in a cyclic way? See, this portion can be easily maintained in a cyclic way, 3 by 4, 4 by 5 and 5 by 3. So this permutation has one particular cyclic permutation as 3, 3, 4 and 5. Now what about 1 and 2? Since they are getting exchanged with itself, they are either written in single brackets or they are omitted. They are omitted because they carry no value as a cyclic permutation. Okay, basically Q equal to this is same as Q equal to 3 4 5. Getting my point? Let's see some more such examples. For example, you have the permutation 1 2 3 4 5 and 1 3 2 5 4. This is equals to 1 2 3 4 5. Let's see how. See, 1 is getting exchanged with itself, so they will be written in a single bracket alone. Now see, 2 is getting replaced by 3. Okay, 2 is getting replaced by 3 and 3 is getting replaced by 2. This is 2. Okay, so they form a single cyclic representation. 4 by 5 and 5 by 4, they form a separate cyclic permutation. So 1 2 3 4 5. Got my point? This can also be written as simply 2 3 and 4 5. Okay, got my point? Now what is the reason that we don't basically value the permutation or the element which gets exchanged by itself? So let's see कि if we multiply these two permutations, which will we be able to get back this permutation or not? Okay, let's see. So we have the permutation 2 3 and 4 5. Now what does this permutation mean? This is the product rule. Okay, this is not just writing them side by side. This means the product of these two cyclic permutations. Now what does this cyclic permutation mean? This cyclic permutation means that 2 is being replaced by 3 and 3 is being replaced by 2. Okay, but we have 3 more elements, that is 1 4 and 5. You before doing this particular problems, you will already know what the set contains, what the elements are there in the set. So we have 3 more elements, 1 4 and 5, and since we are not defining what the exchange is going on in the case 2 3, so we will be exchanging them with itself only. So we will have 1 below 1, 4 below 4 and 5 below 5. Okay, similarly here we have 1 2 3 4 5 as usual. 4 is replacing with 5 and 5 with 4, so 5 4. The rest we will keep intact. So 1 2 3. Now if I product them, what do I get? See, I have 1 2 3 4 5, 1 3 2 4 5. So I will bring this lower row here in the upper row. So 1 3 2 4 5. Now see, 1 is replaced with 1. Okay, 2 with 2, 3 with 3, 4 with 5, 5 with 4. So then we will be getting this permutation 1 2 3 4 5, 1 3 2 5 4. Now let's see whether they are equal or not. Okay, so have I done something wrong, guys? Here, have I done something wrong here? 1 3 2 4 5. Okay, 1 3 2 4 5, and 1 is being replaced by 1, 3 by 3, 2 by 2, and you have 4 by 5 and 5 by 4. Okay, so oh no, it's correct, it's correct. Oh sorry, it was my mistake. It is correct. See, 1 3 2 5 4 and 1 3 2 5 4. Okay, it's correct. So this is the permutation we have. Okay guys, so basically you have now see, we have just multiplied these two cyclic permutations. We have not even calculated the one portion. Okay, so this is why we can easily omit the elements which get exchanged by itself. Okay, so clear up till this much, guys. Now we will be understanding what is the disjoint cycle. What is a disjoint cycle? Disjoint cycle. If two cycles means cycle permutations, okay, cyclic permutations. If two cycle have no symbol in common, then they are called disjoint cycles. From here we move on to a very important theorem, or basically you don't need to write it as theorem here. You write it as a note. What does the note says? Every permutation of a finite set, is either a cycle or a product of disjoint cycles, So this is what you have written as a note. Okay, so next we will be talking about transposition. Transposition is a very important topic. Now what is the definition of transposition? So transposition defines a permutation that displaces only two symbols, is called a transposition. Okay, a permutation that displaces only two symbols is called a transposition. Okay, this transposition is a set of length 2. A transposition is a set of length 2. A transposition is always a set of length 2. Now from here we have one particular theorem. So what is the theorem? Acha, before starting the theorem, I want to make one thing clear, that two permutations can be multiplied only if they will have the same degree. Same degree means they have the same number of rows and same number of columns. Got it? Okay. So next we have the theorem. So what does the theorem say? What does the the theorem say? Theorem says that a cycle of n symbols can be written as a product of n minus 1 transpositions. So before transpositions, before moving on to the proof of this particular thing, let us just understand what a transposition is. So basically, suppose you have a permutation 1, 2, 3 up till n. So in a transposition, this permutation will have only exchange in two of its elements. Suppose 1 and 2 gets exchanged to say 2 and 1, and the others are intact. So see, only two elements gets exchanged here. So there can be one more permutation. What is that? That is 1, 2 up till n and 1, 2. So we will have two permutations here because two elements can be arranged in two ways. That's why transpositions are sets of two elements. Okay. So now we move on to the proof of this particular thing. So let's talk about the proof. So what is the proof? Okay, let's see. How can we prove it? Okay, so let us assume these product of okay, I think I have not written the theorem mathematically. Okay, I have not written the theorem mathematically. So let us first write the theorem mathematically, then we will speak about the proof. Theorem mathematically says that suppose you have the transposition, suppose you have the cyclic permutation 1, 2, 3 up till n. This can be written as 1, 2, 1, 3 up till 1 n. Okay, this is what the theorem says. Okay, so now we move on to the proof of the theorem. So what does the proof of the theorem say? Let's see. Okay, so let us assume 1, 2, 1, 3 up till 1 n is equals to 1, 2, 3 up till n. Now 1, 2, 3 up till n, this cyclic permutation when multiplied by 1 and n plus 1 cyclic permutation, this transposition, what do we get? So see, we get here 1, 2, 3 up till n, and here we have 2, 3, 4 up till 1 here. Okay, this is multiplied by 1, 2 up till n plus 1, and let me write n before that. So here we have n plus 1, 2, 3 up till n and 1. Okay, now what we need to do is here that we will be replacing this and this to be same. So we get 1, 2, 3 up till n, 2, 3, 4 here 1. So the upper row becomes 2 3 4 up till 1. Okay, now see, now here is something a bit different. When we will be multiplying them, we need to make sure that the above and this one is the same. Okay, got my point? Now basically when we are doing the product of n plus 1, now there can be one question which will be arising in your mind, that n plus 1 and n are not having the same number of elements. Okay, same number of elements. So now here we will be applying a little bit of trick. Now what is that particular trick? Let's see. See, here we have 2 3 4 up till 1. Now that part is pretty clear, and below 2 is replaced by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, 1 is replaced by n plus 1, but this has a higher degree. Okay, so we will replace this permutation as 1 2 3 up till n, then we will be having an n plus 1, 2 3 4 up till 1 and another n plus 1, because we know that the element when gets exchanged by itself, it does not gets counted in a while representing in a cyclic form. So we can do this very easily, and here we have 2 3 4 up till 1, and then we will be adding a n plus 1 again. Okay, so what do we get? We get 2 3 4 up till n plus 1 and 1. Now we can easily multiply to get 1 2 3 up till n and n plus 1. Below we have 2 3 4 up till n plus 1 and 1, and this is nothing but 1 2 3 up till n plus 1. Now this was the induction hypothesis step. This was the induction hypothesis. That is the second step of mathematical induction. The base case you can prove it very easily. You can just take n equal to 1, or you can take n equal to 2, and you can just prove it. Okay, so I just showed the induction hypothesis case. So from here we can easily prove this particular theorem which says this. Okay, so thus we have completed the transposition proof, and let this lecture be up till this much. The next lecture we will be bringing about more topics on group theory. So meet you in the next lecture.